Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for March 17th. I'm your host, Jaron Armstrong, and with me today is Kirsten. How you doing, Kirsten?
You know what? I'm really excited to be here. It's just time to show you why I'm here and show you that you can't mess with me, okay?
There you go. We are here to talk about everything that happened on the Big Brother Canada 7 live feeds yesterday, and the feeds were down for like a long time.
Yeah, like technically for yesterday, I think that the FeedSpot thing said it was only like 8 hours and a bit. Um, but since everything kind of picked back up at like 3 a.m., I'm counting it as down for 10 hours. And anyone who wants to fight me on that can go right ahead.
Yeah, it was a veto competition, and also we never actually saw them choose the players for the veto as well. So I'm guessing it was choosing players and then veto competition, and then whoops, we forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it must have been really quick between picking players, getting the costuming into the storage room, and getting everyone dressed, and then going right into the veto. And then it took quite a while to play. I'm guessing. I don't really have a sense of exactly what the competition was. There was numbers, there was balls. That's all I know.
Yeah, there was we'll talk about it toward
Yeah.
the end, but there was also some talk of cheating, and I wonder if that had anything to do with keeping the feeds down because they don't like anything controversial. So
Could
we'll
see
see.
it.
So we started the day. Some of it we talked about yesterday because it was very relevant to yesterday's update. But we've got the plan going, right? Chelsea wants the veto to be used and for Caelynn to go up on the block. So Chelsea's talking to Kira about like, which person should we take down? How should we go about this? And Chelsea ultimately would kind of like for Kiki to be the one to be taken down. Maybe they can make a deal with Kiki and Esti, and then work that relationship, have it repaired a bit. But at the same time, she'd still want to target Kiki like next week or soon because they're still dangerous.
Well, and I feel like that's something that Chelsea does a lot yesterday is just talk about what she's going to do next week and if they have the power next week. Chelsea, you have the power right now. You need to make a move now.
But yeah, basically they're becoming very worried about the Kiki Esti Dane trio, and they want to keep that in check, but at the same time they feel like, but first we have to get rid of Caelynn. They're very worried about Caelynn, which I do think they're overestimating her influence in the house. I do think that this trio is a lot more dangerous to them in general. But I think there's part of them that feels like, when you're playing Risk or something, and like there's that one person that has very few troops left, and you're like, oh, just leave them alone. They're not a threat. But then if you leave them alone, they amass their troops again, and they're a big threat again. So they're like, we got to get her while she's down.
Yeah, and it's not even like she has Australia, so they probably don't need to be worried about it. But
I was exactly thinking about somebody who had Australia.
literally my move every single time. And the thing is like Caelynn has shown so many times that she has no sense of what is really going on. She doesn't really have a read on things. When she does have a read on things, it's backwards, and she often pushes things the wrong way. But it's almost that thing where they're still talking about her like she is so manipulative and like she is so powerful, and it almost gives her a little bit of power that she has absolutely no business having because she's proven she has no idea what to do with any of it.
Yeah. But that's the plan. It has to be Caelynn now, and then next week they can focus on this trio, and there will later be talk about which of the trio they should be looking at. But that'll be an interesting conversation for later. So Anthony is going to talk with Esti. Anthony has a great day, I think, in many different ways. But first he's talking with Esti, and Esti, who trusts Anthony far too much, lets him know that she hates Mark. She's talked about this before, but this one really just outright like, Mark, he's a loser. He's a liar. He touches me, cuddles with me. I don't like it, and I don't trust him. He's a snake.
Yeah, Mark is not trustworthy. I feel like yesterday was also a very, very bad day for Mark. And it's like, has Mark truly, like, I know last week I was like, who's Mark? I really like, I forget about him, and I still do, but I'm just like, how is he so forgettable and yet so able to put himself in a bad situation?
I feel like every season there's always one scapegoat for like all of the world's problems in the house, and Mark is that person this season. Like it was Ramsey on Big Brother 19, where everything just got blamed on Ramsey, and there are others. Scotty, it was Scotty on Big Brother 20. This season it's Mark, and just like every bad feeling that Esty or Kiki have about anything in the game, it's Mark's fault. Which, like, he doesn't do himself any favors. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it necessarily, but they very much just really don't like Mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like a little bit of a difference between Ramsey and Mark in that Ramsey's more likable than Mark.
Yeah. I can skip ahead because this is not relevant to the storyline or anything, but Mark does have a conversation with Kiki saying like, hey, I will use the veto on you if I win, and Kiki is like, okay. She doesn't believe him at all, and then he's immediately gonna go and talk to like Stuffed Animal about how he was lying and how he's gonna throw the veto.
Who is he? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's like,
we don't know him, okay?
the Stuffed Animal knows him better than anyone else.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah. So anyway, Anthony's going to take this information and lock it away. He's going to use it a little bit later. He is also going to go and talk to Chelsea. Now, remember, Anthony knows that there's a plan in the works to backdoor Caelynn, but Chelsea has not told him yet. So I don't know if Chelsea planned on telling Anthony in this conversation that she planned on backdooring Caelynn, or if Anthony prompted her to tell him through the way that he was talking about Caelynn, because he started talking about Caelynn, and she was trying to gauge what his thoughts were on Caelynn. He was trying to like be like, hey, I don't think she's a good person. I think she's not trustworthy. And so then they both kind of were, moving toward this thing of like, okay, you can tell me now. And so Chelsea does end up telling Anthony that that there's a plan in place here, that Caelynn is probably going to be the target. And Anthony really just opens up on Caelynn, that what she did with the prayer, talking about like organizing a prayer of, I hope that everyone sticks to their word and keeps Mackie like a good person, in the eyes of God. And he's like, that was so sketchy. She's like Chucky. She's like Chucky. When I went to go talk to her about how I was going to vote Mackie out, she turned her head at me like she was Chucky, the killer doll.
I also just like how he's like, and she said that we need the Lord to give us the strength to stick to our word, and it was just sick. It's sick.
It's pretty funny.
She just doesn't do herself any favors. And I also really liked from this conversation when Anthony's like, and she came to talk game with me on day one. And it was shocking to me that someone would talk game to me on day one. It was shocking.
She was bringing conversations to me the first day. It's like right away I knew.
Yeah. It was shocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have a good conversation. Again, any conversation between Anthony and Chelsea I enjoy, because they really they have this sort of dance that they do, and it's interesting to watch. I still think they're two of the smartest people in the house. So then we get Adam, Sam, and Kira. Kira's going to suggest, like, hey, I'm worried about this Dane, Esty, Kiki thing. Maybe we need to be taking a shot at Kiki. And Adam's like, no, it's Caelynn. And don't worry about Dane. He's not a problem. Dane's fine.
Anytime they bring up Dane, he's like, no, Dane's fine. And Kira's like, well, don't you want to know what he said about you? And Adam's like, I know he said I was a threat, but that's what we're saying to show that we're not close. Like, I know that's what he did. It's like, Adam, what are you doing? The whole point of this bro alliance is that you're supposed to try and keep it hidden that you're so close. Like he's just not subtle at all. Like Anthony does a pretty good job of, you know, at least being subtle and, you know, planting seeds and letting other people come to their own conclusions and like protecting the alliance while not outwardly saying, oh no, it's fine, we're close. Whereas Adam's like, no, we're fine. Dana and I are close. We're so close. We're just trying to hide that we have a thing.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
So Anthony, by the way, has talked to Adam now and about his relationship with Sam. Now, I remember yesterday on the update, we talked about how Sam had talked to Adam about, hey, there are people in the middle and you're at the top and these guys might be taking a shot at you soon. And Adam went to talk to Anthony about that. And so Anthony has now talked to Adam about the fact that he's finally come around and he's realized it's actually kind of beautiful. It's actually kind of great that you have this Sam thing. Just don't let your feelings get too, too involved. Recognize that, that Sam has other people. She has Chelsea. She has other people that she has a relationship with that's probably just as strong as her relationship with you. And the point here is that we're going to be using Sam. And Adam's like, I'm completely with you. It's bros first. And so really, in my eyes, this is Anthony like learning the game, and he has finally come around to understanding exactly what is making this whole structure work, and he finally recognizes how valuable Sam is as a shield in front of them, as somebody that everybody else thinks is running the house, that they're like, hey, who controlled the votes, the last 2 votes? And Adam's like, we did. He's like, no, Sam did. Think about it. Sam wanted Laura gone. Sam wanted Mackie gone. It looks like Sam is running you and therefore running the house. That's what we use. We use Sam as our shield. And it's like, thank you. You finally, I think it's because he spent a few days like not talking to Dane so much. He's finally went out of that influence and he's finally on top of the game here.
Yeah, and what I really liked about that is he's like, I know like there's the relationship you think you have with Sam, but Sam has that relationship with other people too. And just like putting that little crack in before being like, this is what we're going to do. You're not on top. Sam is on top. And it was just like very, very masterfully done.
Anthony is reminding me of how I saw Derek operate in the house, and I'm not comparing him to Derek because he is not as good as Derek. Let's be clear about that. Even just like, no, it's too early to tell. No. Even beyond that, he's not doing nearly as well as Derek was doing in Derek's 2nd or 3rd week in the house. But I think one of the major differences is that Derek knew the game really well. Anthony does not. Anthony came in saying, and this is one of the reasons why we underestimated him. Anthony came in saying that he hasn't watched many seasons. He had what's his name from last season as his favorite player.
Ryan
was his favorite player from last season. So it's like, this is, I feel like if we're trying to judge Anthony here, it feels like he is a little bit like a Derek type who's not as good as Derek, but a Derek type that comes in not knowing the game. And so as he's playing the game and learning it, he is getting better and better, and he's really the only person of the Pretty Boys that understands what's making this whole thing work, despite the fact that Adam is the one that set it up, because Adam had the game knowledge to say, hey, let's copy the brigade. And then Anthony went in and he was like, sure. And then he was looking around and he's like, this is working great, but we need to get Sam out. And then wait a minute, hold on. Sam is making this whole thing work. Thinking about it, what makes this whole thing work? Nobody sees that we're together. We can separate off into different sections and then make sure that none of us ever come up as a threat. And as long as we don't get too cocky and we stay humble, then we can use other people as targets and have them go after each other. And I just need to tell everyone what to do because they're all being dummies, and then everything's going to work out great.
Maybe a slight exaggeration, but I It's one of those things where when someone comes in without a lot of game knowledge, we always have to kind of wonder now if they're going to be someone who picks it up and learns and excels, or if they're going to be someone who just never really gets it and just kind of angrily is like, I was staying true to myself the whole time. And I feel like those are really the two like sides of it, and then there's obviously a range of where they could fall, and Anthony's falling closer to the range of like picking things up, but I do see like it's not perfect and there's definitely some issues. Like he sits there and tells people like stay humble, stay humble, stay humble, but then when Mark has doubts, he's like, we're going to be legends, like we are making power moves, we're like the best thing ever. And it's like maybe he knows that that's just what he needs to say to Mark to convince him, but it's like the dichotomy there, it does give me pause, and I worry that if things work out for him for too many more weeks, that he's going to get cocky and he won't stay humble, and he will it will all fall apart.
Yes, and again, I think this is part of the like lack of game knowledge, where he recognizes the need to stay humble, right? But he doesn't have the knowledge of like seeing a lot of people in this position come crashing down because of their hubris, and I think that he as he's learning the game and he's discovering things, he's recognizing that he is a lot smarter than most of the other people in the house, and I think that like he's kind of riding high on that a little bit. He's kind of like, hey, I basically just telling these people what to do, and he is now starting to just tell everyone what to do, which is working right now, and it's what Derek did. But Derek did it a lot smoother than Anthony does, and you know, I think that there could be a point in time in which the people are like, hey, Anthony, stop telling me what to do. Like, why? Like, he really just like lays it down. Like, this is what you need to do, and people are accepting it now because he does have a way about him. He has an emotional intelligence, I think, that is that exceeds most of these people in the house, and so he recognizes, and they trust him, and they agree with what he's saying. But you know, if he ever finds himself trying to give a hard sell, he might find himself in a trickier spot than he's used to.
Well, yeah, and it's the thing where like his side of the house has won everything so far, and so some people play really well from a position of power, and some people play really well as underdogs, and we have no indication to know if Anthony can play when he's at a disadvantage. So we'll have to see what happens depending on who wins HOH next week, right? So.
Yes. So. Anthony talks to Adam and Mark. He lets Mark know that he's been hearing his name. Doesn't give him like specifics, but he's like, hey, I've been hearing your name all over the place. This is not good. You need to be getting closer with the SD Kiki side of things. You need to be aligning with them. But stop cuddling. No more cuddling. Not allowed.
No more cuddling. And I'm not going to tell you why no more cuddling. I'm just going to tell you no more cuddling.
Just trust me.
Just trust me. No more.
Don't do the cuddling. But you need to regain that trust, because that's in, and Mark is like, oh yeah, totally. It's easy. I just fake it. He's so bad at this.
He's just like, he's so bad at this. Like, Mark, everyone sees through you. Like, I just have to wonder how he lives his day-to-day life. And does he like try to pull this kind of stuff there? Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to fake it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's he doing?
Yeah. He thinks he's good at it too. It's just, it's funny though. It is funny in the sense that like Mark does see that Kiki and Esty are like acting differently toward him. And like, so they're like, we hate Mark, but we're faking it with him, and he doesn't realize. And Mark is like, I'm so like, I'm getting weird vibes from Esty and Kiki. I don't really like them very much, but I'm faking it with them, and they don't realize.
It's just all around bad.
Everyone would be happier if people were just more open with their feelings.
Yeah, but not in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Kira is going to talk with Esty, and Kira's going to do a lot of things here, and not all of them are good. Kira, not a good player. No.
Yeah, I'm very, very disappointed. I came in, I really liked a lot of what Kira had to say in their preseason press, and it seemed like they have, the knowledge and the attitude to maybe do it. But all that I get from Kira is they are telling us things and they are not showing us any evidence that those things are true. And it's extremely disappointing. I was so ready to stand, and it's like, well, sorry, like, not a good player.
Yeah, and I tweeted this out, but just like, I hate the feeling that whenever I watch Kira, I feel like their primary motivation in the game is like, how do I hang out with Chelsea more? How do I get to cuddle with her? What is she feeling about me? Like, it's like, no, why does this matter so much? Why can't you focus on the game?
Well, and the thing is, though, is like, I don't even care that much about that, because when they focus on the game, that goes poorly too.
But I think this bleeds into their focus on the game, where they're constantly trying to do things like, hey, it's me and Chelsea, and which is pissing Chelsea off. It's not resonating with the rest of the house guests because Chelsea's like, no, it's not. And like, they're not really playing their own game, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. I think this is really the root cause of a lot of their troubles in the house. But you know, they could also just be a bad player regardless.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those cases where, like I said earlier, where when someone who doesn't have game knowledge comes in, they're gonna fall on like one side of the spectrum. This is when someone with a lot of game knowledge comes in, they're also going to fall on one side of a spectrum of either they have all of this knowledge and also the social skills and intuition and all of that to actually make it work for them, or they have all of this knowledge, but they don't have the skills to make it work for them. And I think that is Kira to a T. Like, they know so much about this game is what it seemed like coming in, but they don't have the ability to execute on any of it, and it's really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that the game knowledge is not really there.
It's not what we thought it was. Like,
yes,
everything they were saying coming in seemed very, very promising. Mm-hmm. But I do also think, like, it is possible that maybe the game knowledge is there and they just don't know what to do with it. I'm not going to completely discount it.
Well, and here's why I feel like a lot of this is Chelsea related, because last week when they were on the block, they didn't do great, but they didn't do poorly either. Like, they were a lot better than Mackie for sure, and they were able to say things that worked in their favor. And there are even a lot of people this week that are like, man, we made a mistake because we thought they were going to be one thing, and this week they're an entirely different thing. And so they did manage to change up their game and play correctly. And I think a large part of that was that Chelsea basically was just like, stay away. And Chelsea was not a part of their game last week, but this week it's all about Chelsea again, because you know they're back together and they're talking to Sam about like hey, you know, Chelsea said something that made me think maybe she likes when we cuddle, and like it makes her confused, and Sam is just like, I think maybe you should chill on that. And it's just like well, come on, just like focus on the game, please.
Yeah, and that also comes back to it too, where they were in a, you know, underdog bad position last week and they played well to get themselves out of it, and now they feel that are in a position of power and they don't know how to handle that. So it's all full circle.
Yeah, and making arguments like, no, it doesn't matter if we sleep together because people know anyway. It's too late. It's too late to convince people we're not together.
There's no point lying about it. Yeah, it's a lot, and I feel for everyone in the situation.
Yeah. So Kira goes to Esty and is gonna drop some information that Chelsea didn't exactly want out there, like, hey, maybe there's a bigger plan in the works, and you know, you were never an option to go up anyway. But hey, if you keep me safe, I'll keep you safe. Like, can we make a deal on that? And Esty's like, sure. Yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? Say no, Kira?
Yeah. So then we're gonna have a conversation here with Chelsea, Adam, Sam, and Kira in the HOH room, and they this is one of the more interesting ones because the women are bringing up Dane and how maybe they should go after Dane next week because he is a physical threat. He's one of the few people in the house that's capable of beating Adam in a physical competition, and they think that means Dane will be coming after Adam. They're really concerned that Dane is going to come after Adam or maybe them, and that he's connected with Esty and Kiki and that he's this big threat. And Adam's like, no.
He says literally, the boys have an understanding. Adam,
we're
what
fine.
are you doing?
We're fine. It doesn't matter. But listen, we were talking to Dane and he was saying things. No. We've already talked about that. Like we're saying things to make it seem like we're not close, but we're actually really close and we have an understanding and it's like totally fine. I trust Dane. I trust him a lot. And they're like,
He's like, and you're pissing me off.
And they're like, oh, Adam. And it's funny because Adam is being naive right now, thinking that he can say these things and not tip his hat in terms of the pretty boys. But that naivety is like coming off to the women as like, oh, Adam, you're being so naive. You think that you can trust Dane, and he's smiling because it's like he can't keep the smile down because he knows he's in an alliance with Dane, and it's like it's awkward for him. But they think he's smiling because he's embarrassed about like, no, I really can trust Dane. Like, why is it so embarrassing that I think I can trust Dane? And so it's like it's working, but it really shouldn't be.
Well, and then also he's got that, like, I don't know, when you made that face, I was just like, he's got his little boy face on. But then he's speaking so aggressively.
Like, we should not, I think it would be, look, if you guys want to do that, but I just think it would be a mistake. I think it would be a mistake.
You need to effing trust me. You're pissing me off. And it's like, whoa. But then he's like smiling. He's like, yeah, it's so weird. It's such a strange, I don't know. Yeah. It's very strange.
I know what I'm talking about. Like, okay, well, look, this is next week. Are you saying that you wouldn't be willing to if you got HOH, you wouldn't be willing to go after Dan? No. Like, okay, but it's next week is a long time away. He's like, yes, it is. Like, let's come back to this. Let's come back to this. It's really a stalemate. Dane is not. Adam is not able to deflect away from Dane, and it was very poorly done, as we've been saying. But not only in the sense that it was very obvious. It was like, no, don't target Dane, don't do it, don't, no. Yeah. But like that's not how you deflect away. How you deflect away is. Dane is dangerous. You're right, because he's connected with Esty and Kiki. They're the pair. I think they're the ones bringing him in, and I think that they're sort of running him. Like that's what the rest of the pretty boys have been doing with Adam and Sam, where everyone has talked about wanting to target Adam, and they've deflected it off to Sam. But so like if people went to the rest of the pretty boys and said, hey, we need to target Adam, and they just said no. I trust him. He's fine. That wouldn't have worked. But now they have everyone going after Sam before Adam. That's how you do it. Adam does not understand that. Adam is just like, no, not Dane. No.
And I also really like Kira asks, well, is Dane still like gunning for me? Adam says no. Chelsea says yes. And then Adam's like, well, we haven't talked about that yet. Stop, Adam.
Yeah. So Adam's going to run this right to Anthony, luckily for Adam, because Anthony is the right person to talk to here. And Anthony right away is just like, okay, that's fine. What we need to do to fix this is we just need to give them another target. I was like, that's exactly what I was just saying. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah. And so Anthony is saying, okay, like this is fine. He talks more about like their setup and how, look, Adam, you need to not tell them no. You can't be so adamant about the defense because they're smart. They'll pick up on it. They'll figure this out. They can't figure this out. So You need to just be fine. I'll go talk to Dane about this, and I'll get Dane to talk to them. Not immediately, because we don't, we're not. It's not going to look like you just ran to Dane and everything. But we'll get Dane to talk to them because we've got time, and he can talk about how much he trusts them, and we'll smooth this out. We'll make it work. And Adam's just like, oh, okay. And so like it's really just like Anthony calming Adam down and telling him everything that they need to do, and then. This is in the have-not room, and then Adam leaves, and Anthony just like bursts out into maniacal laughter.
Yeah. Oh, please never do that again. I just also like Adam comes in like, it's so hard not to laugh. They don't have a clue. It's like you just gave them 15 clues. And Anthony's like, no, this is good. Like, we don't want them to know. Like, we just need Dane to paint a believable picture of who he's going after. Like, it just needs to match up with what Sam and Chelsea are doing. It's fine. But
Yep.
yeah, no, the laughter was unsettling, and I'd like for nobody to ever do it again. Anthony, were you? Thank you.
Well, I think it was many things. I think it was like this is proving to him that like he really does have Adam, because Adam is coming to like Adam is not hiding things from him. He's then he knows now that he has the ability to tell Adam what to do. He recognizes the position he's in, and I really feel like this is like Anthony's just like this is it. This is working. I've got this. But I'm staying humble.
Yeah, he's got this, but it is week 3 and there are several more weeks to go. And I feel like this is one of those things where Anthony's going to continue to do well for at least a few more weeks. And we're going to start getting questions of, if Anthony wins the game, is he the best winner of Big Brother of all time? And it's like, remember when we were saying this about Pauly? Like,
we always cite Pauly as the example, but I mean, also think about Vanessa, Derek, Tyler, Paul. Like, I think more often than not, when we're looking at the best player in the house, they do go on pretty far.
I'm going to say, look at that list of players. How many won?
Well, yeah, but
it's not great at this point for us to be seeing it that much, I don't think.
I mean, I'll easily take somebody that's gonna get to the final 3 over the rest of the house right now.
I also just think in Big Brother Canada, it's a lot less likely that person makes it to the final 3 than it is in.
That's definitely
in
true.
the U.S., right? So I am like, I like what we're seeing right now, but I don't have any faith in him to keep it up, and I just don't anticipate it going all the way. And if I'm wrong, I will be glad that I'm wrong, because that means someone really like smart and strategic and made it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that Anthony is Derek. I'm not saying that he is like a Tyler or even a Paul at this point. He's not. But he is the person I think that is standing out. We talked the previous couple of weeks about how there really weren't any standouts at that point. I do think that Anthony is starting to stand out at this point, and whether or not he's able to continue this, because I do think he is starting to get a little too confident, is one question. But from what he's doing right now, I think that things are definitely looking up, and he is in one of the better positions in the house. The people he has to worry about the most here, I think, are Caelynn and Eddie, and Caelynn's got one foot out the door at this point. So I think he's playing the best in the house. That's we can say I will say that. That doesn't mean that he's like a 10 out of 10 mastermind. It just means that he's better than the rest of the people in the house, and that can change.
I think we just fundamentally disagree on what playing the best in the house in week 3 is, and that's okay.
Well, who do you think is playing the best in the house?
Honestly, and this is going to sound crazy, who's talking about Corey right now? Who's talking, like, last week it was Corey's in the week 3 plan. I don't think Corey's going to win. She doesn't have a shot.
But
she
doesn't have a shot to win? How is she playing the best?
I think in the early game, I don't want to see someone who's manipulating things so obviously, because I think this is going to come out, and I just don't think it's that good. I don't think anyone's playing great, but I don't think Anthony's playing the best game, because I just think it's going to get found out. I don't know.
I mean, I hear you. I think Corey is playing well, but if you don't think she has a chance to win, how is she playing? Like, I'm talking about best chance to win the game.
Well, then Eddie.
Okay.
Because
I
I'm
hear that one
standing.
too. I think that Anthony, Eddie, I'm a little lower on Corey than you, but I think Anthony, Eddie, I think Chelsea is playing well, but this is still tricky waters for her at the moment. And I do think Corey is playing well as well. So I think those are, all people who are up there in terms of playing the game. But Anthony, for me, is the one that has the influence, the allies, and the respect to win the game, whereas all of the others still have a lot of work to do and movement to like make happen in order to get into a position where they can win.
Yeah, and I just think it's a better look to do that work later on. That's it. And to be clear, like Corey just gets bonus points from me for coming in late and still being as in the position that she's in, because it would have been very easy for her to go out like this week.
For sure.
That's all I'm saying really with Corey. It's not like I think she's a mastermind.
Yeah, my main concern with Corey is that she hasn't branched out enough yet for me. That she is still mainly associated with Kaylin, who's on her way out the door, which is probably going to be a good thing for Corey. She has talked with Chelsea, but not a lot of follow-up there. So I need Corey to find some more concrete allies. You can't really win the game without any allies, and that's really my main issue right now with Eddie and Corey, is that they have the people like them, and Damien too. People like them. They just don't have any serious allies. They don't have any serious influence yet. So we'll see how that goes. Let's move on here to the feeds go down.
What, you don't want to talk about Kaylin's camera talk?
Where she hopes that the nominees will win the veto.
She says, I can run circles around these kids in strategy, but for a physical comp, you can sit Mama K out. Kaylin, she literally just has no read.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's bad. I think anytime Kaylin has anything to say about the game, she's wrong. I don't think she's ever been right.
Pretty much. One other thing that I thought was funny that happened before it went down for veto, at least I think this was yesterday, but the days are starting to blend together, as when they're talking about in the blue room about who's the oldest in the house. And then Dane's like, well, if we're being honest here, you think Mama Kay learned how to cook that well in 29 years? You think all these stories happened to her in 29 years? It was a very fun conversation. Was that yesterday or was that the day before?
I don't remember. I think it might have been the day before, but
they blend together so much.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anyways, feeds go down for 9 hours.
Yes, down for a long time. They come back up after the veto competition is over, and Sam has won the power of veto, but not without controversy. Apparently, Sam won because Kira, who was also playing, threw the competition to Sam in a way that helped Sam. So I think it was one of these sort of spelling competitions or something along those lines, and Kira basically told Sam about here are the letters you need, and so Sam was able to get, and Adam was also apparently trying to help, I think, from the sidelines, pointing out letters. And so there are people in the house that saw this, Damien included, Anthony included, that felt like this was perhaps cheating, that this was not allowed. Now, to be clear, if it was cheating, then Sam would not be the veto winner. Big Brother Canada is not shy about reversing the outcome of a competition if the person is caught cheating, and if it was as blatant as they are claiming it to be, then then Sam would not have the veto if it was actually cheating. So it definitely wasn't cheating unless they take away the veto from Sam.
I feel like if it were cheating, the feeds would still be down now because they would be playing another veto competition today. And they would try to hide that the first veto competition had ever happened.
Yes.
From us is what I would assume. But it looks like if the whole Kira sharing answers or cheating or whatever hadn't happened, that Damien would have actually won the veto.
Yeah, Damien was very close to winning, apparently. And so Chelsea felt the need to go to Damien and be like, I'm sorry, they do not speak for me, just because I think what Chelsea is worried about it looking like is that because Kira was trying so hard to make Sam win over Damien, who is about to win, that is like, Chelsea sent Kira out there because she was desperate to make sure that Damien didn't win because Damien is the real target. And so Chelsea is trying to say like Kira does not, they were just getting excited and they do their own thing and they're not attached to me. And you, I promise, are not my target. I told you that you were the pawn. That's very much the case. Anthony was talking to Chelsea about what Kira did and how this puts a big target on Kira's back. I don't know if it actually puts a target on Kira's back. In fact, I think that Kira is making a very good case to be dragged to the end the more that they do anything in the game. But everyone is sort of like, this is just lots of controversy. Kiki is crying. She's pissed. She feels like she ruined her shot to stay in the game. She doesn't realize that the veto is about to be used, probably on her. Esty tried to make a deal with Chelsea and to save Kiki, but she tells Dane she's not going to honor that deal. Whereas Kiki says if she has to make a deal with Adam and Sam to get the veto used on her, she would honor that deal because she would just go after Mark because she hates Mark.
They're going to go after Mark anyways, right? A few highlights from that is, Anthony's like, anyone is going after Kira 1000%. Like, people are going to go off on her. But he's like, but it can be fixed. He says, I'm going to do a lot. It will be fixed, which I think is like just that level of arrogance that is not going to do him any favors. Chelsea's seeing that, Kira's having emotional outbursts and that this is not good for Chelsea's game. And Chelsea's really not happy that they are like trying to play her game while Chelsea's not around, right? And then Kiki being upset that she's wearing a turtleneck is one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. She's like crying to Dane and she's like, I'm gonna go shower, get out of this turtleneck. They put me in a turtleneck. And it's like, turtlenecks are in fashion right now, like chill out. But yeah, it was a lot of after veto drama.
I should have worn my turtleneck for the update.
You should have.
Yeah.
100%.
The one that I don't have.
You messed. Yeah, I was like, me too, but I don't have one.
Yeah. It seems like the house is still a little bit in chaos here. I don't think they've slept at this point.
If they have, it's very, very little sleep.
Yeah.
And then I know I've seen some rumblings on Twitter where people seem to think that Chelsea now is going to put up Kira as the replacement nominee. No. And like, stop. Like, that is absolutely not happening. Kira is a great shield for Chelsea right now. And then Kira also, like, I think is creating a situation where Kira, they will be dragged to the end, or they will be taken out soon because they will obviously be an emotional juror, and getting them out pre-jury would be a great move.
People always talk about like controlling the members on the jury, but nobody ever actually like uses that reasoning. But
we've got Anthony, and Anthony's a mastermind.
You're really hung up on this Anthony thing.
It really bothered. I just really don't think it's gonna work out. I hope I'm wrong, but I really just don't think it's gonna work out. It doesn't seem like you hope you're wrong. No. I mean, obviously I would prefer Eddie to win, but I would like for Anthony to go far because he is like, manipulative and thinking and figuring this out as he goes. But I just have this feeling. I just don't think it's going to work out for him.
Okay.
I don't know.
I trust your gut feeling, Kirsten Kaelin.
You know what? How dare you?
How old are you again?
I already said I'm going to start lying and say I'm 29 because aging up is great. People will be like, oh my God, you look so, I'll be like, I'm 42. And they'll be like, oh my God, you look so good for 42. It's like, oh yeah, skincare, no big deal.
It's dangerous though, because if you age yourself up and then people don't say anything, it's going to make you feel so much worse.
Well, I think at this point when I'm still getting ID'd at bars, I can age up safely.
All right. Did we get confirmation on who the veto players were? So it's obviously the two nominees. We know that Kira played and Sam played. I'm not sure who the third person was.
Yeah, could be Mark. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
feel like
truly,
if it was
I haven't
Mark,
seen it.
I would have heard more complaining. So.
Yeah, good. That's a true. I don't know. It was all. We'll find out, I guess, on Wednesday, if not sooner. Imagine if we don't find out until the Wednesday episode who the fifth veto player was.
I see two Corys in the chat. One Eddie and one Dane. So
nobody knows.
Corey sounds right to me.
But yeah, that feels more right.
Who knows? Anything else we need to talk about?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
All right. So that's what we have for you. The feeds were down for so long, but there's still so much to talk about because there's a lot moving around here. There's still a lot that's happening, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of fluidity to the game, which I am actually really enjoying, despite the fact that the feeds are down for most of the day for the last 2 days.
I really enjoyed the fluidity, but I would like to see someone who's not part of this like big amorphous blob alliance to win some power and see what
AKA
happens.
not Anthony.
Yeah,
Anyone
not
but Anthony.
No, I don't hate Anthony. Okay, I don't need this narrative.
I will say about the feeds though that last year the feeds went down for like 2 days following one of the veto competitions, so we're ahead in that regard.
I wonder, though, if the overall hours are more or less than they were at this time last year. Even with, like, the 3-day outage.
What I really enjoy are the people that create the percentages of outages versus when they're on, because, like, not only is that great for Big Brother Canada because it, like, shows how much they hate us, but also in Big Brother US, it shows the players who are like, you don't see everything, to be like, yeah, there's, like, 8% we don't see at most.
Yeah, and so if people are looking for that info, definitely make sure to follow like the Feeds bot account. Set on your notifications so that when feeds come back, you get a nice little Twitter notification rather than having to sit and wait and watch them shade us with their feeds or out messages.
Be back soon. Here's something you can do. Rant on Twitter about it.
Yeah, I don't have to rant on Twitter because I just wait. I get a notification, then I come back. Yeah. It was awesome.
You can rant on a podcast. Haven't called that one out yet. Did ya?
Just wait, it's coming. It'll be now that Trevor Boris follows Brent, I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Well, he's been following me, so it's like he's clearly seen all. Like he responded to one of my tweets, and now I feel a little self-conscious about how angry I am. But look, things happen.
Well, I also feel like it doesn't matter how mad you get. The perception is never that you're like that angry. Whereas like Brent could get like just a little bit upset and people be like, he was ranting and raving.
Actually, let me just take this opportunity. If you are one of the people that helped get Brent unblocked from Trevor Boris and to get Brent followed by Trevor Boris, you did a bad thing. You did a really bad thing. You should think about your actions. You do not want Trevor Boris following Brent. This is bad for us. It was fun. Everyone would be happier if all of the people involved in production and casting and the players had Brent blocked on Twitter. Everything would be better. The podcast should be in a better place.
I cannot believe you just told everyone that they should block Brent Welgemuth on Twitter?
No, the audience should follow Brent because they enjoy his messiness and they're not the targets of his messiness.
I can't believe that's what I heard. Wow. I can't believe it. Surprised he didn't throw in his Twitter handle too. Like, make sure you block him.
Guess who's the subject of Brent's next Twitter rants? Me. All right.
I mean, that's hardly new.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us. We should have a pretend ending before that ending. That when Brent listens to this, he'll listen to the pretend ending, and then not hear the real ending, where we talk about the true tea, as he might put it.
We need to edit that so that it's a surprise ending, and he just hears us plugging our social media and have a great day, bye, and then it's like tea.
So yes, you can find me on Twitter at OneLuckyGay, and you can find Kirsten at OneLuckyStraight to get both perspectives.
Am I Trent Wall? Come on.
Yeah.
This has gone too far.
You can plug your real Twitter.
Yeah. If you could please follow me on my actual social media at Kirsten Said What, that would be great.
There you go. You guys know where to find me. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that's happening today on the Big Brother Canada 7 live feeds. And also tomorrow night, we will have our second roundtable of the season, where I'm sure Brent will have a lot to say about a lot of things.
Honestly, I would have said, you know what, roundtable, probably fine. You should definitely, listen to it. But now I'm like, guys, get your popcorn. You're going to want to watch it live.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. I will see you next time.